Hello and welcome to Giant Mess, a sloppy sports and entertainment talk show that covers everything from the New York Football Giants to the New York Baseball Mets, in addition to movies, TV, comedy, life lessons, parenting lessons, funny stories. It runs the gamut, the spectrum for sure. It's hosted by a giant mess. That's me, the real cinch Neal Lynch. I'm an Irish Italian-American who graduated from a Catholic high school. But get this, not Catholic. Don't tell the Pope. And then I earned a couple of overpriced degrees from an overpriced college known for producing doctors and lacrosse players. And I gotta tell you, I probably should have gone the doctor route. And given what is going on with my right arm, I probably should have played lacrosse. If I had a time machine, I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly what I'm doing. Well, instead of that, I'm not Dr. Lacrosse. Instead, I'm now unemployed. Whoa, spoiler alert. I tell stories. That's what I do. I try to be funny. I sometimes try way too hard, and people are like, ooh, no, you stink. You can leave a voicemail at 862-248-1986. That's 862-248. And then the year 1986. Just remember 1986. If you're a Giants fan and you're a Mets fan, that should be a pretty year to remember. You can subscribe to Giant Mess on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Neal Lynch or Real Cinch or Giant Mess. You visit the official blog at neallynch.com. I probably should update that at some point. You know, that's a thing. And I got all the time in the world to do that. Unemployment. You can go to facebook.com/Giant Mess if you're a Facebook freak. If you're into the twits, Real Cinch. If you're into the gram, Real Cinch. How do you spell Real Cinch? I don't know. Take a crack. I'm sure you won't be that far off. And then, this here pod is available wherever audio recordings are available. And that includes the FBI. On this week's episode. Wow, there's a lot. The contents of this show changed over the course of the past 48 hours. I'll tell you that much. You probably can tell by the way that I've done the introduction that I am no longer employed. That's less than 4 months of employment. That's a new record for me. In terms of full-time salaried positions, that is a record. I think the last time that I was employed for less time was at a bagel shop that tried to be a pizza shop, and I had to get up at like crack of dawn, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and that lasted maybe a week. So I was supposed to get an upper endoscopy. I'll tell you all about that. Actually, I'll tell you about it right now. Didn't happen. I was supposed to go on a second date. It didn't happen. A lot of things that didn't happen because of what happened on Tuesday morning. Took Bree to a friend's birthday party, and maybe I'll talk about that. And that's what we're rolling with in this week. So without further ado, let's do it. Yeah, so was watching the Giants game Monday night against the Cowboys, and I have a problem. I have a problem following the New York Football Giants. It's a little too extreme at this point. It affects my mental health, and it causes me an unbelievable amount of stress, which is ridiculous considering I'm middle-aged, and literally what they do does not really impact or affect what I do on a daily basis, but yet I can't do without them. What was that quote from Brokeback Mountain? I can't leave you. I can't quit you. There you go. Once you do enough drinking and smoking in your lifetime, you have to dig a little bit deeper for those memories. The recall is not exactly right where it used to be. So yeah, I can't quit you, New York Football Giants. And so I was watching the game Monday night, and then I get a meeting invite with a dude that I've copied on a few emails, when giving like analytics reports and insights reports on how our videos are doing on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. And never really talked to him one-on-one. And he's like, sends me a meeting invite out of the blue late on a Monday night after hours, no context, and it's the duration of the meeting is 15 minutes, which is generous. And at that point it's like, oh, I'm getting fired, and it's time to start imbibing. Let's bend some elbows, huh? Because it was the combination of, okay, impending doom, you're losing your job yet again, and then the combination of facing the Cowboys. I don't know what it is about the Giants facing the Cowboys and the Eagles, but it brings out the absolute worst in me as a human. The level of stress that it caused me, anxiety, is true to roof, and I don't understand it. I really don't. It's just like, here's some guys dressed in these colors, and here's some guys dressed in these colors, and they're just throwing a ball around, and there's like points for stuff. Like, why does that drive me up a wall? And then, why am I the baby from that drug movie that, again, can't remember because I'm too old. What was it called? The heroin and the Ewan McGregor and the fucking whatever gives a shit. Anyway, so yeah, I got that email, that invite, calendar invite, and I was saying to myself, I'm getting fired. Cool. Been on the job less than 4 months, and I'm getting canned. Wow, that was quick. And it was this is the company that offered me a short-term contract. It was going to be 6 weeks. I said no thanks. I prefer something that's a little more full-time, and I'd like something that's more stable and secure because I'm a parent. I'm a single parent. Got to provide. It's not just me you got to worry about. It's I got a little one I got to take care of. And they came back and said, you know what? Good on you. We like your argument. It's valid, and we're going to reward that with some full-time employment. And I was like, hell yeah. And then I got into the nooks and crannies of the job, and I said, hell yeah, again. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about Donut Media. Donut Media, one of the top automotive channels on YouTube in the US, possibly the world. They make amazing content. Every single video is just chef's kiss. I mean, it's just so good, so great. The editors kind of have utilized the style of video editing that is, I'd say, comparable to Tim and Eric. Awesome show. Great job on Adult Swim. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then maybe their videos are not for you. But I am a big fan of Tim and Eric, and so I became a huge supporter of Donut Media. I think if more creators, publishers, whatever, should follow in their footsteps, because their talent is top of the line, top notch, personable, charming, witty, funny. I mean, the one guy, James Pumphrey, suffered a freaking heart attack because of the amount of effort that he was putting into each and every single video. And I almost wanted to go in and see like the timeline of how that went down, because you can see he is like, I mean, going over the top, bonkers level enthusiasm with every video, just trying to entertain your ass. And then he ultimately, his health suffers for it. And I think maybe he's dialed it back. I would imagine he has to dial it back at this point because he can't give that kind of intensity for each and every video. You know, it's unfortunate. You suffer a heart attack, and it's like, that's kind of an eye opener. Maybe I gotta do things differently according to my doc. So I'm sure I'm on that pace with the level of trauma and stress I've suffered over the past 16 years. Yeah, you lose your father, and it's like kind of has a pretty deep impact. Whoa, great movie, Morgan Freeman. It has a deep impact on you, and so that has basically affected 99% of my life decisions. You know, if you want to play like what if my father didn't pass, what kind of path I would be on? I know I'd be in a better off spot. I just know it would. Because that has ultimately forced my hand, not really forced my hand. My mind has corrupted me and has become my sworn enemy. And so that's what's going on there. I get off on a tangent there, huh? What even was I? Oh yeah. So yeah, I knew that Monday night when this guy who's higher up, C-level, C-suite, whatever executive type, who I have never talked to one-on-one in person before, is like, hey, let's have a meeting, just you and me, huh? Does that sound good? And I'm not going to tell you what's it about or what the agenda is. It's just going to be blank, just you and me. It's like, so he's either going to get on and be like, hey, you're doing an amazing job. Even though I know Facebook is tough in terms of trying to get reach and followers and engagement. It's not like it is on YouTube where we have a lot of success, but you've done such an incredible job that we are now going to broaden your responsibilities so that you're not only doing Facebook, but you're doing all the socials for Donut. And hell, we would love for you to do consulting and do more for other properties underneath us. Or we're just gonna fire you because you're meaningless, you're worthless, and you provide no value, and da da da. So I had a feeling that he's gonna fire me. I was like, if I had to give the odds on this, I'd be like, it's like 90 to 95% I'm getting fired, 5 to 10% good job. I've only heard good things about you from your boss, and we're rewarding you handsomely. That doesn't happen. And I've seen plenty of it's impossible to ignore. I'm not a news junkie, but it's impossible to be online as long as I am every day, all day, for 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and not notice that, hey, the economy's kind of tanking right now. Interest rates at an all-time high. That was a big topic of discussion at my daughter's friend's birthday party. All the dads getting together talking about the economy. That's top-notch stuff. And, it's kind of hard to see like, oh, layoffs. But then you think, well, we got past that because all the big companies, they did all their layoffs like a month ago, 2 months ago. And then you realize, oh, no, they're just ahead of the curve, like the Amazons, the Googles, the whatever, these bigger tech companies that can probably predict the future like you saw in Westworld season 2 or 3. Train spotting. Jesus. That's the movie with the baby that crawls on the ceiling. Wow. It took me a good 15 minutes. See, it comes around. You just gotta it's gotta get running a little bit. If you've noticed in the video, this is not a nighttime video. This is a daytime video. Because again, I'm unemployed, so I have the time when I'm not applying to a gazillion jobs. So yeah, I got to imbibing that Monday night because Cowboys games. The Cowboys get me so riled up because it's like, it feels and it looks like we should be able to beat them and we can't. But so it was a combination of that and then this dude's email that was like, hey, never talked to you before, never had face to face, but let's have a face to face. And yeah, so ironically, I went into the company that I work for has these co-working spaces. So WeWork, that was in the news, not recently, but the guy, there's a friggin' fictionalized series about WeWork with Jared Leto and Anne Heche. Nope, she died. R.I.P. Anne Hathaway on Apple TV, I think. I watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this. It's just like, and that guy, he raised all that money, eccentric dude, lost it all, and now he's got more money coming his way again. I am flabbergasted by people like that somehow always find a way to talk themselves into a shit ton of money, blowing that money, and then people still giving them opportunities, just being like, here you go, here's even more money. So yeah, there was like I guess it's called Hana, Hana, or Industrious is the name of the company, and Hana is the name of the location at the World Trade Center, whatever. So I was like, I'm going to go into the office because my second date, I got that hot second date lined up, and I'm supposed to meet with our Facebook rep. So I figured might as well pop into a co-working habitat, be in the city so that I don't have to commute going the other way during rush hour. Just like, this is get in the city, get all settled in, and then take it from there. And of course, the guy, the call was at like 11:45. Zoom call, I get on, it's him and some other guy that I think I might have emailed once, never had a face-to-face chat with. And the one guy is like, the guy who set up the meeting is like, hey, yeah, so there's no easy way to put this. This is hard, but I have some bad news. This is your last day with the company. You'll be paid. We're experiencing underperformance across the whole blah, blah, blah. And we are doing some company restructuring. And my man over here will take it away. And then he just signed off, like no goodbye or anything like that. I was just like, oh my God. So I just, and I feel bad for the second guy because the first guy, he just rips off the Band-Aid and runs. And then the second guy has to deal with the pain from the ripped off Band-Aid. Like he's stuck on this call with this person who's just had their heart ripped out of their body. It's bleeding everywhere. And he's just like, so you're gonna get an email with the agreement and do you have any questions? And I was like, yeah, why does God hate me? Like what is this a cruel joke? Like and I just asked him, I was like, is this like a situation where there wasn't a ton of thought that went into this decision? Because I'm not the only one. This is layoffs, mass layoffs, relatively speaking, for this company. If they only have 250 employees, 300 employees, and you're laying off like 50, it's a significant chunk. But like, how did you go about the decision process? And he's like, oh, well, you'll see in the agreement, like we listed out all the people with their titles and ages. And I'm like, man, it doesn't really. That's just like, I guess, to cover your butt so that you don't get sued for age discrimination, maybe. But it feels like a last one in, first one out, last one hired, first one fired situation, which I don't know that I've ever really agreed with. It's like, I guess that's the easy way because you're not emotionally attached or invested in the company yet. But I mean, if you listen back to the last episode of this here pod, I was talking about how the past 10 to 14 days, I've never felt like better about my life, my job, my future. And then as soon as I put those words and those ideas out into the ether, out into the universe, the gods, if you will, the hands of fate were like, you shouldn't done that. You shouldn't done that. You jinxed yourself. And now we're going to bring down the hammer. So yeah, that's on me. And people are like, well, how can you be so superstitious? How can you be that way? Like, why are you talking like that? It's like, cause it's correct. It's just factual. It's 100%. I get too high on my own supply and I got to come down crashing hard. So yeah. Underperformance across the board. So he didn't really say that my performance was that bad. He was just like, we're underperforming across our whole portfolio. So we're restructuring our company. And if you look at some of the reasons that they listed in the agreement, it's like, I guess I'm they're trying to consolidate, and there seems to be redundancy. And this happens with bigger companies that are into murders and executions. I'm sorry, mergers and acquisitions. Like that happens. Anytime that's like, hey, we're proud to announce that we acquired. It's like, if you're an employee and you see we're proud to announce that we've acquired, it's like so many people are losing their jobs. That's like not good news. Anytime something's been acquired, it's like, oh, that's not a positive thing. Usually for a lot of people are going to be out of work. It happened at Warner Media. It happened with me at Full Screen Media, which is owned by Warner Media. I mean, Warner Media was just like barreling through mergers and acquisitions. And I feel like they're still going through that with Discovery. It's just like, I don't understand. I'm just like, holy macaroni. Like, it's just nonstop. We're just going to keep every month, every week, every quarter. We're just going to keep acquiring and cutting, shutting down. It's just like this industry, man. Has to be the toughest industry, right? Has to be. I was thinking about, I mean, this has gone on the past 6 years where it's just like Dailymotion almost acquired by Yahoo, nixed by the French government, acquired by Vivendi, cuts made. Go to Condé Nast, contracts not renewed due to restructuring. They're going to sell two of the brands that I was working on. New York Post, contract renewed because there was upheaval with the top of the top C-suite level office. Like the CEO was either canned or left, or I don't know, but that sent all the budgets into disarray and they couldn't afford me. I mean, you know, I now have to go through this with every interview, if I even get an interview, every interview that I have to engage in. I now have to explain why it's like, okay, why'd you leave that job? Well, I didn't leave the job. The job left me. You know, Full Screen Media acquired by Warner Media. And then it's just like, we're, even though you are profitable, I believe, and you are essential, especially during the pandemic, people are watching video like at crazy amounts because you can't go outside or do anything they used to be able to do. Despite all that, it's like, we're going to cut all you. And then the people that we do keep, we're only keeping for a certain amount of time, and then we're letting all of them go. So yeah. And that video chat was the day after my birthday. So I've now been canned 2 or 3 times on my birthday. So I'm sure there's some other devastating news will happen on my birthday this go around. So let go twice around my birthday, which is just fantastic. And then SNY, you know, I don't know if I can get into too much of the details about SNY, but it was just like, here's a job description, try to do the job description, and then knowing that 95% of the job description just doesn't exist or didn't apply. Like I wasn't able to do it because it just didn't exist or was broken or I don't even know what. And yeah, so man, I think I hate the World Trade Center, and that's nothing against the World Trade Center other than on a personal level. I think I hate it because I've now gone into the world. Like this is I've now been let go 3 times at the World Trade Center. So I feel like I don't want to work at the World Trade Center anymore. It's just like, I don't know what is going on with me in the World Trade Center, but I feel like if someone offered me $1 million to work there, I'd be like, okay, yeah, but you have to put in my contract that I can't be let go. Or if you're going to let me go, you have to let me go at another building because I can't be let go at the World Trade Center again. So this industrious co-working space was at 3 World Trade Center, which I couldn't find for the longest time because I worked in 1 World Trade and I've worked in 4 World Trade. And in 1 World Trade, Freedom Tower, pretty obvious, hard to miss. 4 World Trade was a little harder to find, but at least it says it right on the outside of the building. Couldn't find 3 World Trade Center to save my life. And then I was like, oh, Neal, all you have to do is just pick up your head, just kind of move your eyes up like 5 feet. And there's a big number 3 on the side of the building. But yeah, I was just like, oh, okay. And it's happened so many times now. So this is the past 6 years. Actually, I have now been let go. I've lost count. Go back in there. It's, I'd say past 12 years I've been let go from every position. I think that's a sign, you know? It's kind of like, hey, bud, you tried your best. Now it's time. Maybe you need to move along. Hop along, little doggy, and go somewhere else. Do literally anything else than what you're doing in this industry because it's just not working out for you. And all I can think about is that Frank Sinatra song where it's like, here's to you, New York, New York. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And it's now been almost 2 decades of trying to work in New York City and it not working out, which probably not good for my aspirations outside of New York. It's like I didn't make it there, so I can't make it anywhere. Thanks, Frankie. Old Blue Eyes. That's just constantly playing in my head. Like, you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's like, yeah, you haven't been able to make it here, so you can't make it anywhere. Yeah, so had to cancel the appointment with the Facebook rep, which I really do think after that conversation with her that I would have had a more concrete plan for the Facebook page moving forward, but didn't get to it and had to cancel my second date. I don't think a lot of people would argue with that. We had reservations at this, I made reservations at this wine bar in Hell's Kitchen that I thought was pretty tight. It was going to be outdoors, small plates, tapas, because the ladies love it. And I really felt like that was, like everything was just moving in the right, like it just like moving in the right direction, you know? And then I flew too close to the sun, I guess, with these old wax wings and had to come crashing down. Yeah, so I had to cancel the date and dating is off the table, right? I mean, I think I did some dating when I was unemployed in 2012 and it was just like, hey, do you want to meet for drinks at this place that has like $5 that you could drink? It was basically that dating in 2012 when I was unemployed was the equivalent of when Dave Chappelle goes on that date when he's a janitor in Half Baked. And as he's doing these things, he's trying to just have like a free date where it's like, let's just hang out and talk and do things for free so I don't have to spend money because I don't have any cash. And you could just see him ringing up all the totals that he was going through his head on this date, like ice cream and and a hot dog and wanting to walk versus taking a cab. It was just like, it just kept going through. So I don't want to deal with that anymore. I don't even want to have to go through the stress of doing that. Like, I can't afford this. And then even if the datee, I'm the dater, the datee, I don't know, my dating partner, my date offers to pay for it. No, I don't like being in debt to people. I don't know. I just don't like it. I just feel like it's never ends well. So yeah. Had to cancel the date, had to cancel the appointment, and then just had to take the long train ride home, 2 hours home. And then I ordered a literal metric ton of Five Guys. It was just like, yep, we'll just add a patty. Let's add a couple patties to that burger. Let's add all the toppings, good and bad, even the ones I don't like. Throw it on there. Hot dog, why not? Get it in there. And anyone who's familiar with Five Guys knows that they give you an excessive amount of fries. And I was just like, yep, give me the largest bucket of fries you got at that place and throw all the seasoning on it because I'm going out with a bang. This is my last meal. That's how I treated it, was like, this is my last meal. And if my body gives out on me, so be it. Yeah, so that was fun. But so yeah, that's been my life since then. Has just been, I basically took the rest of Tuesday off. I was just like, I'm just gonna watch Dark on Netflix, which is I can't tell if I'm at the end of my rope with this show. I'm in season 3. I'm like halfway through season 3, and it's and I think this is the point of the show, and the fact that it's German really like solidifies this thought I have about the show for me, because it's so German. It's like the beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning. It's very like abstract-y, like it's time traveling, but it takes the time traveling premise to a whole new level. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen, take your grandfather paradox and multiply that by 1,000,000. It's just, and I feel like and this is intentional. I believe it is. There's a lot of moments that they're in season 3 that they're recreating from season 1 and season 2 to show you. It's almost as if it's saying like, no matter how much you try to deviate from the timeline or from whatever, it's gonna happen no matter what. Like, it's just your destiny, your fate, and all that. And I've been obsessed with that for a long time. And this show really just no protection, just has at it on your brain. Just assault. It got to the point where I was in my head trying to do a family tree. Okay, kind of a spoiler. But at the first season, it's like, oh my God, wow, that and there and the whoa and the huh. And season 2, so season 1 was kind of honed in on like like these 2 to 3-ish time periods, and then season 2 kind of expanded that, and then season 3 has expanded it even more. And I can't see how this ends. Like I have no idea how it's going to play out, and it feels like it's just going to get even more convoluted and complicated. And part of me is like, I think I should just tap out, because I feel like I'm experiencing, it's like the definition of insanity. I'm experiencing the same thing, but it's just getting more out of hand and more out of control, where it almost feels like, remember Lost? It was like, whoa, how are they going to wrap this up? That's exactly where I am right now with Dark. I'm like, there's no way they're going to be able to wrap this up. I mean, I congratulate them and kudos on the ability to be able to get this crazy with it and have it still make a certain level of sense. Like, it's not completely incomprehensible to me. It's like, okay, I'm able to connect the dots, but the dots, there are no future dots. Like, I can't see how this is going to play out in the future. Is it just going to be, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't watched it, but it's just, if you how do you feel about characters that speak in vagaries, I guess is the word to say, like very ambiguous, non-specific language that's like very cryptic and mysterious? And that hooked me for the first season, kind of warmed me in the second season. And the third season, I'm like, oh my God, shut the hell up. Just shut up and tell me what the hell's going on. And I think I understand to a certain degree where, these characters that do have this knowledge are unable to really directly, frankly, tell these other characters what's going on, because I guess they are worried to a certain level about the ramifications of telling them directly and how it will alter. So it feels like there's 2 or 3 camps. There's one camp that's like, hey, no matter where you go, what you do, you can't change anything, okay? Because if you do, we're all screwed. And then it's like, the other camp is like, listen, we're in this mess because everyone has decided not to change anything. We do need to change something to fix what's going on. And then there's a third camp that's like, this new third camp where it's like, I don't even know what their goal is or their objective is. It's just like, I guess we're going to, I don't know, clue. I'm just completely and utterly lost. And it's like, it feels almost like homework at this point where like, I can't, my brain hurts too much to be trying to figure any of this out. And I don't even know who I'm rooting for anymore. At this point, it's just like, I don't care. Like I was invested, and now it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? I opt out. I don't want to go through this anymore. It's too nuts, but I'll probably stick with it through season 3. I mean, it is one of the better shows if you're talking about dealing with time travel and sci-fi and all that goes along with it. I can't really envision or picture another show or think of another show that is able to address and handle time travel like this one has. But you want to talk about a knot, they talk about, we have to undo the knot. And then other people are like, no, the knot is there for a reason. We have to keep the knot. It's like, they're in a knot for sure. I mean, I'm not just talking about the characters within the show, that world. I'm talking about the showrunner, the show writers, like they're in a knot. And I would love to see what the whiteboard looks like in their writer's room. It's just arrows. And it looks like Charlie Day on Always Sunny when he's talking about Pepe Sylvia, just red yarn going crisscross in every which way. And yeah, it's tough, but it's got me thinking, like, if I could time travel, where would I go? What would I do? How would I prevent anything? And this show has basically said, like, you can time travel to your heart's content, my man, but it ain't gonna change anything. You might be able to and it's it kind of goes hand in hand with Loki, what was happening in Loki, where it's like, oh, we have a branch off the acceptable timeline, the timeline that is most preferable, that doesn't end in apocalypse. Like, we have these branches and we need to like clip those and get us back to the timeline. But that's essentially what's going on in Dark. And I think that's essentially what if I had to think it actually exists in real life, that's probably what would happen. Like, if I go back now to me, maybe like, I don't know, 5th grade. If I went back to myself in 5th grade and I said, hey, come over for a second. Like, I know you're about to go up to take a hack at the plate in this Little League game. But after the game, you're going to have a taller girl in your grade invite you into her mom's Camaro. And it's pretty much an invitation to kiss face, make out. But you're going to be so nervous that you won't know what to do, and you're going to cower and clam up. I'm telling you, just go for it. What's the worst that could happen? Would that be the place I travel to? I don't know. That's a toughie. Would it be to when my father was supposed to be the Princeton University head doctor of the athletic program of the team sports there? And like, would I have somehow got rid of his competition, find some dirt on the competition and been like, you don't want to go with this guy. Look what he's done. Look what he's doing. His private life, and then dox him or ruin him. And then my dad could be the like, was that it? There's so many points in your timeline that you could be like, oh, well, would definitely change that. But to me, I think I would definitely go back to probably right around puberty. And be like, hey man, don't be nervous. Don't be shy. If you like someone, it doesn't hurt to just go up to them and be like, hey, I like you. What's the deal? What's up? How you doing? How you living? But for sure, at some point in high school, be like, hey yo, quit thinking about these other girls or women that you knew back in the old place where you lived. Hone in, focus in on the ladies here, but also prepare for college. Like, actually think about a career path that is sustainable and secure and stable and you can depend on, and because and then another entry point would have been probably after or freshman year, been like, hey, don't get too invested in this girlfriend. It's gonna end horribly. Go to class. Try your best. Find what works. Don't let your guidance counselor tell you that film media studies is a good major, because it's not. You're gonna end up paying out the wazoo in tuition, in student loan debt. You're gonna be so buried in student loan debt, and you're not gonna get out of it. And the only reason you get out of it is because your grandmother passes. And your dad passes. So yeah, there are multiple entry points where I would go back and be like, hey, here's what you need to do. Here's what's coming down the pike. Do it. But what the point of the show is your younger self. You think your younger self, when you do that, is going to be like, okay, yes, man from the future who claims he's from the future. Of course I will do everything that you say, because why would I ever doubt you? No, I can only imagine 13-year-old me, 17-year-old me, even like 21, 22-year-old me getting a visit from fat me now, coming back and being like, hey, saddle up, buckle up, dude. Because here's what happens if you continue to do what you're doing. Not pretty. And they would be like, get out of here, you lunatic. I mean, that's exactly what happens in the show. And that's realistically probably what happens with a lot of people. It's like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm my own free will, my own choice. And another spoiler, there's a Pixar movie that came out recently that deals with that. And I don't want to tell you which, because it's kind of a major spoiler. But it is amazing that we like to think of, self-care and taking care of yourself and like listening to yourself and not doubting yourself. But at the same time, it's like, if you could actually have a younger, older version of yourself talking to you, you're not going to be on the same page with a lot of shit. Like, you're going to disagree about outlooks and perspectives and whatnot. So I think I do appreciate that about Dark. I don't even know how much further they can take this thing. And I don't know if I want to subscribe and like follow along and be along for the ride at this point. It's still incredible, the scope and the range and the depth of the show. I'm not arguing any of that, but it also is taking a toll on my mental health. Just like the Giants and the Mets. So yeah, as much as I'd love to time travel and go back and like try and alter the past, I think it's just not possible. You'd end up in an insane asylum where you end up getting significantly hurt. It's just like, things are the way they are. And it also, conspiracy brain makes me think that maybe I have been visited in the past and turned down the advice. Maybe. I don't know. You just need to watch Dark, I think, is the main takeaway from that. So before my world crumbled completely, I had Bree for the weekend. I took her to her friend's birthday party. And this is a friend who I can see, like, you want to talk about the future, the past, all that's good stuff. I think if Bree continues to hang out with this girl, it's going to be trouble. It's just going to be, and I'm hoping it's just like good, innocent trouble, where it's like, it was skip day, senior year in high school, and we skipped together and we went to a diner. Like that kind of trouble. Not like, hey, we robbed a bank, or hey, we're into drug dealing together. No, I think it should be for the most part harmless fun, but I do see them getting into trouble together. It's just, it's kind of, I think there are people in my life that I get together with and it's like, it's just trouble. It's just trouble from start to finish. We just get each other riled up and then it spirals out of control. So, but it was a friggin' 15 to 20 minute drive to this house, her friend's house. That's how ridiculous ridiculous Princeton is. Like, I guess I'm not technically Princeton. I guess I'm technically West Windsor Township, but it is insane that you can drive for 20 minutes and you're still in the same town. Like, it's just a very odd configuration. But 15, 20 minutes, get there, and it's a big, beautiful house, a big, beautiful backyard. And I'm introduced to the parents in person for the first time. And the dad is like, yeah, looking to upgrade. And I'm like, this looks, in my head, I'm thinking, this is like a big house. He's like, yeah, we're at 4 bedrooms and, we're not able to entertain guests. So we probably had to go up to 5 bedrooms. We got a condo down in Wildwood that we're renting out. And he's throwing around these facts and figures and all these numbers. And I'm just like, like I'm just trying to afford rent at my 2-bedroom apartment that's falling apart in my sad dad bed. Like, I can't relate to you right now. And I told him I was into gambling, sports betting. That was like the first thing that we let off on. And I was like, yeah, I have this method of this model that that I feel comfortable with, but it's not working. If that makes any sense, where it's like, if I just keep doing this, it'll work. Where I look at it's mostly football, college football, NFL. We'll look at the money lines, and I'm like, if they're both minus plus 100-ish range, then I go in and I'll do a parlay with the spread and the over under, and I'll tease it, and I'll do a teased parlay teaser, and it works like half the time, maybe half the time. And I keep doing it, and it's like, no, you're not going to make any money that way. And so this guy turned me on to some kind of these guys that are, if they're married and have families, God bless, kudos. But it seems like their lives are strictly live sports gambling. So as the games are going on, they're exploiting glitches across apps, I guess is the best way to put it. And like, that's really, I guess, the best way to make money, sports gambling, sports betting, is to like exploit glitches on apps during live games is essentially what's going on. Basically, I think it's called middling, which I've never heard before. Saturday, which where it was like, if the Saints are playing the Bucks and the Saints are favored by 3.5, that means minus 3.5. That means the Bucks are plus 3.5. You get the Saints at minus 3.5. Take that bet, and then all of a sudden the lines change. You can then to 4. You can then take the Bucks plus 4, and you can win both those bets or one of those bets if the Saints win by 4. Is that what it? I don't know. My eyes kind of glazed over at one point. But I got to see it in action, where he's showing me, okay, here's the live stream of them talking. Okay, they're saying that this pitcher, position player, is now pitching in this game, and then the quick take, the opponent to score a run or something in this inning before they are able to, because I guess a lot of the apps are automated where they don't take into consideration the details of like who's coaching, who's managing, who's playing. It's just this happened, so this happened. It's not like Mike Evans scored. It's like offense scored. It's very the algorithms, I guess, or the updates that are being made automatically aren't taking a lot of things into consideration. And so these guys that are on this live stream do take it into consideration because they're extremely knowledgeable and can see all this stuff and know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away when the damage done. So, he was like, Middle Tennessee State is up by blah, blah against Miami, and they're driving, take this, hammer this. And so he literally clicked on something, and the bet was placed. I was just like, oh my God, it would take me like 5 to 10 minutes to do what you just did. Just someone telling me to do it and me actually doing it would take like 5 to 10 minutes to do it. Instead, he was just like boop and boop. And I think he won it. And then he was talking about like 6 figures, dude. The one guy that is on this live stream, he made like 6 figures on the Eagles Monday Night Football game against the Vikings alone. It's like, oh, that would be heaven to just like be handed like all these great. I mean, you obviously have to pay for it, a significant chunk of change, but I was thinking about it when I had an income stream. I was thinking about it, and now that's off the table. Tuesday and Wednesday were essentially just me going through and canceling everything. I had to cancel YouTube TV. YouTube TV is now donezo. I switched to Sling, and I was like, why did I even cancel Sling in the first place? This is great. What a great price. And then I signed signed up for it, and now I can't sign into my account. My Sling account anymore. In 2 days, I can't sign in. And I'm like, oh, now I remember why I canceled Sling, because they're the worst. That's why. But I made the switch, and I have to stick with it for now. And there's so many other things that I have to like just cancel out of my life. There's so many things like jujitsu. I was actually going to start getting into jujitsu because I was like, it feels like I should probably learn how to defend myself now that I'm exposed and vulnerable. In my paranoid dome, that's how I think, is like I'm exposed and vulnerable. I've made so many enemies and arch rivals in my time that I probably should learn how to defend myself if attacked. And so I registered and signed up for these like jujitsu classes, and I was just like, oh no, sorry, I got axed, and so now I can't do any unnecessary expenses. So, but yeah, it's weird to go from that birthday party Saturday where I'm hanging out with all these other dads, and they're all talking about what they do. This one works for JP Morgan, and this one works for Morgan Stanley, and this one works for so and so, and and this one's in finance, and is able to and just throwing around these 6-figure dollar amounts like it's nothing. And I'm just sitting there going, I don't even think I've never even touched 6 figures. I know. I think it exists. I've heard it exists, but I've never sniffed it. Not even close. So, but yet my wife must like be loving any interactions with that crew, because it's like she's right in that wheelhouse. She's right in the mix in terms of what she does for a living and what she earns. Ha cha cha. Yeah. So that was tough. And the old tricks of the trade in terms of discipline for Brielle, or the threats, my bag of tricks, don't work anymore. She turned 4 and she's like she's a complete rebel now. Like, hey, we're gather around, we're gonna sing to the birthday girl. And so she's over on the trampoline with some other rogue rebellion kid, and they're jumping. And I go, hey, we're gonna sing happy birthday, can you come down off the trampoline and we're gonna have some cake and donuts? And she goes, no, I don't want to. I was like, all right, well, that's not very nice, and I don't think it doesn't sound like you want to sleep in daddy's bed, your special treat that you get when you're with me on the weekend. She goes, I don't want to sleep in daddy's bed. And I was just like, whoa, okay, it's a new one. Usually she's like, no, come on. This one she's like, yeah, I don't care. And then I was like, all right, well then I guess you won't care about not watching TV, like no TV when we go home. She's like, yeah, no, I just want to jump on the trampoline. I was just like, oh my god, like I emptied the clip. So to speak, I have no more ammunition. I'm just gonna skulk and shuffle away. My little sad dad feet are gonna go back and sing happy birthday to this birthday girl and not eat any of the cake or donuts, because I am chubberific. And I was like, well, okay, I had a good run as dad. I don't know what to do or where to go from here. So yeah, try my best and Godspeed. And of course, as soon as we got home, she's like, hey, can I watch da-da-da? I was like, well, no, because on the trampoline, you remember on the trampoline, you said you didn't want to. And she's like, can I sleep in daddy's bed? And I was like, well, no, because on the trampoline, I feel like did you black out? Like on the trampoline, you pretty sure that you said that you were out on TV and daddy's bed. So you're gonna have to live with that. And then she broke down. No, she did the thing that her mom does, where the best way I can explain it is verklempt. I don't know if you ever watched Michael Myers when he was Coffee Talk with whatever her face's name, the character's name on SNL, Saturday Night Live, where Michael Myers was dressed as a middle-aged, I guess, Jewish woman, and we do Coffee Talk, and she gets like verklempt, I guess is the word. Maybe I'm a goyim. Is that what you say for us non-Jewish? The non-chosen. Verklempt is the word that comes to mind, because she like gets very like tense, anxious, like holds her breath in, and like her eyes start to water, and she's not like full on like cry screaming, but it's like it's almost like she saw a ghost. I don't know. Like it feels very dramatic and serious when it's happening. And her mother used to do the same thing over like things that are like pretty unimportant, insignificant, trivial. I don't think that what's happening now doesn't deserve that reaction, but who am I to tell you how to feel, right? So she got into that kind of mode, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to cut this off and just there's gotta be an out here, right? So, hey, if you say you're sorry, you can sleep in my bed and watch TV. Like you gotta pay the toll to get in this boy's hole. Shout out Always Sunny in Philadelphia. If you don't watch that, you probably think I'm a creep, but who cares? I'm a creep. I'm a loser. What the hell am I doing here? So yeah, that birthday party was fun because it was like, I don't think anyone else was divorced there. Didn't feel like it. And I think there are a lot of people that didn't know I was divorced. And I was trying to like subtly like tell them, oh, well, you know, Cassie lives at this place and I live here. So maybe can you connect on that one? And so I don't know. They're talking about, I feel like I'm so behind the curve with everything. Like the one parent was like, we don't let them, we don't post pictures of them on social media, which I get it, you know, given everything that's been going on with Facebook and social media in general and how, you know, your data is being stored and sold and hacked. And it's just like, but I've already kind of posted a lot of pictures and videos of my daughter that I'm kind of like, well, I'm kind of up a creek without a paddle. Even if I do delete all my accounts, aren't they still going to live on somewhere? It's like, at least I'm not doing TikTok where it's like a Chinese parent company where the Chinese government can use that against, I don't know. Aren't we all screwed either way? So, and I have a feeling that, and this is like Bree's quote unquote best friend at this school, like this kid probably does not have any sweets or sugars, like no TV, like no social media. Like this kid is pure, just raw, pure, like uncontaminated, unlike Brielle, where I literally set her up on the iPad for hours at a time when I'm watching football. Yeah, pat on the back, dad of the year. How you doing? So, but you know, we were there 3 or 4 hours at this birthday party. We're one of the last ones to leave. These parents seems like they like to party, which is cool. Like they offered me a beer. I probably had 2 or 3 beers, which is nice. Instead of just like the last birthday party, no offense, where we're all crammed into this very small party room and there's like no alcohol and it's like kind of still COVID-ish times. No one's masked up and I'm just like everyone's bumping into each other and it's just like, what are we doing here? So this was nice to be out in the open, you know, big backyard, plenty of food. They had like walking tacos, which is a great idea. And, you know, there was a bridge because there was like this little ditch kind of thing running through the backyard. And it's a cute little tiny wooden bridge. So many toys and other things to do and play with. And all the kids focused on dismantling this wooden bridge. I was just like, ain't that just how it goes? You know, we have a trampoline, we have a playground, we have this and that, you know, sandbox. We have everything to your heart's content that you could ever want as a kid. And they're focused on literally taking apart this wooden bridge. I must have watched 3 or 4, maybe 5 kids just completely fall off the bridge face first onto their faces. There were kids swinging like the wooden posts, like taking the wooden rails off and then swinging at each other like it was like a jousting tournament at medieval times, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah, it's just mayhem, but a good kind of mayhem, I guess. No one got seriously hurt. No one got, you know, their eye poked out. And I got to have a couple brews, talk some football with some dads, talk about the economy. You know, my go-to nugget that I was throwing out there was, yeah, the interest rates are crazy. I mean, you know, you could buy a house for $600,000 at an interest rate of 3.5%, you know, a few years ago, and you'd be paying the same that you are now for a $300,000 house at 700%. Isn't that crazy? And that got a couple of approvals, nods of approval. I was like, yes, I'm in dad life. What up? But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm behind the curve. Getting Bree involved in like sports, you know, swimming. You know, apparently you have to register for things half a year in advance now, which is absurd. And of course, I pushed on her mother, my daughter's mother, to sign up for swimming classes, and now it's like, you can't afford those. So yeah, the best laid plans of mice and men, which goes back to the previous episode when I was talking about, you know, hanging out with these adults in their late 20s, early 30s who were like entering that next phase of life where it's like we're all engaged and we're about to get married or we're having our first kid, and like all the excitement, nervous excitement that goes into this and all the hope and dreams they're blossoming and flourishing. And yeah, no, it's I wish you the best of luck. Yeah, I don't know how to control or discipline my daughter anymore. And I can only imagine what she'll think or see or do if she ever stumbles upon these podcasts, being like, oh my God, why did I ever listen to that dude? And this is where you're starting to get into dangerous territory where, you know, you don't want the same mistakes that you've made to happen to your kids. You don't want your kids to make the same mistakes that you did. So then I'm sure, you know, I've heard it so many times about how my father didn't want to be a doctor, but that his mom wanted him to be a doctor really big time. So much so that he felt compelled to become a doctor, even though I guess he hated it, ended up hating it. And so instead of taking that same route with me and being like, you need to be a doctor, he's like, you can be anything you put your heart to. Anything. All your dreams can come true. And it's like, whoa, I can be the starting quarterback of the New York Giants and a starting pitcher for the New York Mets? Both of those things? Wow, wow, wee wah. No, dude. I mean, yeah, I guess if I had some creams or injections or whatnot, maybe that would have propelled me to the next level. Or maybe if I didn't feel the need to ingest the amount of liquids that I did in college, maybe things would have turned out differently. But yeah, so I'm trying not to do the same thing with Brie, but I do want to be like, hey, like, it's cool that you're good at coloring, and I appreciate that, and I hope you continue to color throughout your life. Just don't make it a profession. Just don't think that you're going to get paid a lot of money to color. Okay. How about we try and focus in on something in finance? Because CFOs are like never fired, and they make so much money, and they get to do all the firing. So become a CFO. Like, yeah, your life will be kind of boring, and I don't know how much enrichment or fulfillment you'll get out of it, but at least you won't have to constantly be on the lookout for a new job because you're about to get fired or let go or laid off or terminated or given a performance improvement plan that's impossible to meet. So that's where I'm at right now mentally. It's like, so I have to like coach her or guide her. To me, it's like, hey, how about you major in one of the STEMs, science, technology, engineering, math. Let's just major in one of those. And then you can minor in something more creative. And if you do well enough in your major, and you can kind of still meet and do your minor, then you're set for life, I think. Or like, you can try and do like the more stable industries that maybe aren't as entertaining or exciting, that might be on the boring side, but are at least stable and secure and will provide you with enough income to pursue your creative outlets or hobbies. Yeah, does that work? I don't know. Just don't major in anything liberal arts. Like, don't do that. You're just setting yourself up for failure. You need to major in something that actually has a career path that is rewarding and where your earning potential is based on your actual performance and not about how you look on a video chat. Like, I guess you can't avoid politics, interoffice politics, wherever you go. There's going to be that kind of politics going on. But I'm not good at politics. I don't know how to get her, like, coach her up and train her on politics, dude. No idea. So there was a crazy post I saw on maybe LinkedIn or something that like perfectly explained politics. And I can't remember the exact details, but it was like, hey, let me see if I can find that. I mean, just an outrageous example of how politics works. Something to do with Bill Gates. It was like, hey, I want my son to go to this college. It was something about like, it was just like a insane chain domino effect of like, this kid wants to work at this company and he wants to go to this college and then he wants to work at this company. And so the way he's able to do it is like he promises something in return. So it's like, hey, my son wants to go to this college. No, he can't come to this college. All right, but he's going to marry Bill Gates' daughter. And it's like, oh, whoa. And so they let him into the college. And then he's like, hey, I want to work at this company. Okay, but you have to have this. I'm fucking butchering the hell out of this, but it was just such a great breakdown of like how politics works. Let me see if I can find it. I need to be able to find it because I'm not doing it justice. It was like, let's see here. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to find this. No, I'm not gonna be able to find it. It sucks. I should have just liked it, but I didn't like it because I was like, shit, that is exactly what politics is. And no, cut that. Basically, just like the guy started off with nothing. Okay, nothing, had nothing to his name, nothing. But then he would offer something. It's kind of like in Sing 2, where what's his name, the koala voiced by Matthew McConaughey, somehow weasels his way into this tryout for this guy who's the head of a hotel, and it's supposed to be like the number one, I don't know if it's Vegas, but like, you know, obviously a Vegas type town. This is the number one hotel with the number one entertainment spot that, you know, everyone dreams to have that spot, like that stage, that show. And so, you know, the koala's like, they're about to get kicked out or kicked off the stage because like the dude is not interested in their show. And then he says he actually plays a song that is by an artist that is a favorite of the guy who's like giving the green light to shows. And he's like, oh man, I love that show. Like, if you like, I didn't know you have the rights to play that in a show. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, whoa, that's crazy, because the guy who sings that song, he like doesn't loan out that song to anyone. Like, you know, it would be even better if you could get him in the show. If you could get him in the show, I'll greenlight it. And he's like, do you know them? Can you do that? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, no, I don't know him. But I now have to figure out a way to get there and make it happen. And he did, but I don't have that in me. But it is interesting to see, like, okay, I want my kid to go to this school. In order for my kid to go to that school, if I align him with, it's just like what's going on in House of Dragon. Like, okay, in order for us to get this, we have to offer this. In order for us to get this, we have to marry off our kid to her cousin. In order for us to secure our stronghold, we need to make an alliance with this one. It's like, I just don't think about life in that way, because I don't like owing people anyone a favor. Like, you do me a favor, I don't like owing them a favor. So I never thought in that way, and it's to my detriment. Obviously, that's how I've ended up in this situation that I'm in. Is like, I'm not a power player that knows how to politically massage other people. God damn, I wish I knew where that friggin' post went, because it's just like the beautiful works Bill Gates. Like, you'd think that the search on this should be good enough. Posts, date posted, past month. Maybe that's, no, I'm gonna fucking find it, dude. Maybe this is it. Anyway, this is not exactly it, but I think it's good enough. I told my son, you will marry the girl I choose. He said no. I told him, she is Bill Gates' daughter. He said okay. I called Bill Gates and said, I want your daughter to marry my son. Bill Gates said no. I told Bill Gates, my son is the CEO of World Bank. Bill Gates said okay. I called the president of World Bank and asked him to make my son the CEO. He said no. I told him my son is Bill Gates' son-in-law. He said okay. That's exactly how politics works. And it's sad and pathetic that I can't remember that level, that degree of what's going on, but that sums it up in a nutshell. It's like, and it almost was similar to what happens in screenwriting. That's how you avoid that third act problem towards the end, is like, you know, you have it concretely in your head of what the ending is, and then you just have to set up all the other dominoes to fall in that direction, you know? So it's like, okay, I would like my son to be the CEO of World Bank. What are the dominoes that need to fall for that to happen? What do I have to offer? I don't have anything to offer. And so it's like, you lie about what you have, and then once you have something set and firm, then you can go back and say, okay, here it is, and then it can happen. It's a very risky game. In my opinion, I don't know that I have the cojones to do it, but that's essentially what you have to do in order to get ahead in this freaking world, dude, in this life. But yeah, I think I kind of want out of the media and entertainment industry. It's just, it seems like it's very toxic and volatile, and but yet I'm still drawn to it. There's just the allure of working with content that people love, that people, you know, it gets a reaction from people, that people pay for. I mean, that's kind of the business that I'm in. And for me to now go to, say, a bank and be like, yeah, I'm going to market your products and services to people. It's like, I don't know. But, you know, you got to pay the bills. You got to suck it up and pay the bills. So I got to figure it out. And my confidence was peaking. And I'll give you an example. When Bree and I went out to a restaurant nearby, I was like getting, as soon as I opened the doors to the restaurant and step up to the hostess, I got a vibe from the hostess, okay? And I was like, all right, I'm going to ask for her number. Like, that's just, not ask for a number. I'm going to write on a piece of paper, I'd like, you know, let's get drinks. Here's my number, is what I was going to do. And I'm so glad I didn't do it in the long run, because ultimately I was just, I don't know why I thought any of that. But, you know, you kind of, confidence is a dangerous drug. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. And I think that's where I got too high on my own supply, I guess, where I thought like, all right, this is a new me where, I feel like I'm in a better spot mentally. I feel like I'm so secure in my job and what I'm doing and who I am that these are the type of things that a confident person would do, and that I need to stop living in fear and doubt and whatever and just go for it. Like if I have a certain feeling, to go for it. Ultimately, I'm glad I didn't, because they definitely had zero interest in me. But there was the initial vibe where it was like, whoa, okay, whoa, you kind of like, okay. And then, as I was leaving, I tried to like make eye contact and she was like not having it. So I was like, okay, it's probably a good thing that I didn't do that, because that was, yeah. Oh God, what a mess. Giant mess. I mean, this is the name of the podcast. Like, you all should know this by now. All right, that's enough life bullshit. I mean, I was supposed to get an upper endoscopy, and my friend contacted me on Friday afternoon. So the upper endoscopy was supposed to be Monday morning. On Friday afternoon, he contacts me and is like, "Hey, can you reschedule to the day, Monday or whatever?" And I was just like, "Why?" And he didn't give me an answer. And then I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna cancel. I think I know. At this point, it's a lost cause. I can't take an Uber or Lyft. I can't take a taxi. And the medical transport services in this area are either non-existent or just unresponsive. I mean, the one company I've called had to be 4 or 5 times. And it's just like, yes, you gave me the quote. I'm willing to pay the quote, even though it's fucking outrageous to charge me $100 to go 2 miles. I'm going to pay it. Let's do it. Just please confirm." And they couldn't confirm. And then my buddy wasn't able to make it and drive me. So I was like, canceled. And then sure enough, the day after I was supposed to get the upper endoscopy, I'm canned. And it's like, you now have your insurance will run out at the end of the month, which is tomorrow. And then, you can there's like Cobra reimbursements or something like that. It's like, I'm trying to think of what position I would need to be in medically for me to actually enroll in Cobra or enlist in Cobra. It's like, hey, pay $1,200 a month in case something happens. It's like, oh, okay. Screw you, insurance. Screw you, insurance. Insurance. Ugh. It's maybe I should go back to when insurance was invented and be like outlaw it and use my political swagger to convince our government to outlaw insurance, because it's such a freaking ripoff. Whatever. So yeah, upper endoscopy canceled, date canceled. And I had just bought a flight to Pullman to visit my buddy out there. Just bought it. And I was like, yeah, non-refundable. I don't need to change this flight. It's a go, baby. It's a go. Because again, my confidence was raging. And so I was like that confident that I won't need to change it. I won't need a refund. I'm 100% committing to this trip. And then literally 2 days after I buy it, not even, it's like, oh, you're unemployed and you won't have any income. And there you have it. So I was like, and now I can't cancel that, I don't think. I'd also moved around some stuff to go to a friend's birthday party on Block Island that's going to cost me an arm and a leg that I don't have. And like I committed to all these freaking things that thinking, oh, well, I have a job and I'm pretty comfortable given my situation with this job. And then it's like, nope. Cancel. Oh no, I can't cancel. Oh, okay. I'm screwed. Sweet. So sweet, bro. Sweet. Yeah. So it's just like your mom's like, well, I was talking to my mother about it and like going over my budget and stuff like that. And I was just like, I feel like I'm not that extravagant a guy. And yes, I know that I paid $90 for an Uber back from Hoboken to Princeton, but like literally that's something that I don't normally do. It's not something I do every day, every week, every month. That's maybe a once a year type of thing. And now even that's like, oh, I really do need, I can't like travel anywhere now. Like even the places that I am traveling, I'm trying to figure out like ways to like maybe I could draft a semi truck all the way up to Rhode Island and like save on gas. It's like $50 a tank to fill up, and then it's another, it's like everything, all the things that you can afford when you have income that you don't think about. And now it's like, oh, now I'm going back to decrepit, decayed can't do anything, Neal. Awesome. And my mom's like, well, you gotta cut down on the drinking. My budget, I spend maybe $100 a month on alcohol and booze, which is a significant decrease from when I would spend probably $100 or more a weekend, when I was in my 20s or even in my early 30s. It was like, all right, I'm going to spend 50 to 100 on Friday. It's going to be another 50 to 100 on Saturday, and maybe even another 50 to 100 on Sunday, because we're going out to bars and restaurants and all that jazz. And like, I'm now spending $100 a month just on booze, getting it delivered and drinking it that way. And it's like, even that's too much. I'm like, Mom, you haven't touched a sip, you haven't touched a lick of alcohol in as long as I've been alive. So yeah, we're talking decades, but yet that's too much. Got it. And yet she gets to watch her daughter and son-in-law go hog wild, spending obscene amounts of money to go to Alaska to hunt moose or elk or deer, and to go on cruises, and to buy extra vehicles and build a carport for all their vehicles. And it's like, I just want to pay rent. And I spend too much on food and drink. Okay. Yeah. No, I get it. I'm with you. I have a spending problem. Although I looked at like what the spending benchmark is for my area and the income that I was earning, and it was like pretty much right in line with what everyone else was doing. Not that I don't think, maybe that's not so great considering everyone's overspending and buying things that they can't afford and then getting repossessed and then getting resold. My God, what it must be like to be just fucking rich and powerful. Like we all look up at them and we're like, you guys are a-holes, but it's like, it must be pretty sweet to just be an a-hole and have like zero retribution or consequences and just buy your way out of everything. It must be sweet. So I don't know. Well, not to be a Debbie Downer. This was not supposed to be a Debbie Downer, but even I've finally had a former coworker be like, man, you have shitty luck. And I was just like, oh, thank God. Someone other than family and friends said that to me. Thank the Lord. Because yeah, I mean, it is a certain degree of this, certain portion of this is luck. It's being fortunate, being in the right place at the right time. I mean, I signed an agreement. I'm not allowed to disparage my former company, but it is a little confusing. If you state the facts clearly about what happened, like acquired this company in November of 21, and then you bring on someone to expand the offering and to get the content in more places so you can get more money, and that person is doing their best and doing, relatively successful, and you're not losing money on that person per se. But my gut says that there was a promise made by someone who gave me who vouched for me and supported me and endorsed me to get to the full-time opportunity, and maybe made a promise that was above what I achieved. It's like, dude, I know that you had the success way back when, but then a certain element was introduced on the platform that cut your earnings significantly, and I don't know that I can get them back to that level. But here's what we can do. Here's a workaround. I think that's as much as I like to point out, and people don't like this about me, and I probably need to change it, but as much as I like to point out problems, I have been offering solutions. I've learned that you can't just point out problems. You need to also offer solutions, and I feel like I did that. And maybe it was just an instance of like, well, he's the last one hired, first one fired, that kind of thing. I don't know, but I didn't even make it 4 months, which is amazing to me because I saw the numbers and the back end. I got exclusive access, and saw what was there and saw the potential, and was like, I think I feel pretty good about what my situation. And then I was like, hey, yeah, so that rug you're standing on, whoop. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, maybe this will all turn out to be one hell of a story, one hell of a comeback story where it's like, I'll look back and I can tell this story and people will pay for it. Maybe. If everyone in America just paid 50 cents to hear this story, I'd be set for life. But yeah, I don't know that there's anyone, I don't know, at least not in my circle of family and friends, that has gone through this kind of spell, this like rough patch where literally it's been 12 years of just getting let go, terminated, laid off, let go, furloughed at one point. Like I've been through the ringer, dude. And I don't know, I'm still standing. I mean, yeah, it's depressing and I'm in a bad spot, but it still hurts. Like, you think I'd be numb to it by now, but no, it's just like, it still hurt when it was happening. I felt empty on the way, that long ass train ride home. I forgot my headphones, so I couldn't even listen to music to take my mind off things and distract myself. And then I gorged when I got home. But yeah, so I'm officially in like pretty much shutdown mode, where it's like, unless it's a bare necessity like electricity and gas, which even that they're trying to charge me $340 freaking dollars for electric, dude. And it's like, I know I'm electric, but you can't charge me for that. Like, I'm trying to think of what would need to happen to me to get to $340 worth of electric being used. I would need, like, wouldn't I I would need to be running like a generator in every room with all the lights on. I mean, I have a feeling that I do use a lot of electricity given like all the shit that I have hooked up here. But even I don't know how you could reasonably fathom getting to that point. So now I gotta like argue with them. Everything is... I'm right back to having to call companies to get them to do simple things and having to go through these entangled, convoluted, automated systems where it's like, like as soon as the robot comes on, I just go, human representative, speak to human representative. They're like, I think you want to speak to a human representative. Is that correct? Yes. Well, there are a lot of simple things you can do online. Have you tried online? It's like, I wouldn't be fucking calm if I could do you stupid fucking robot. Yeah. I mean, the anger and frustration is boiling over. It's hard to temper down. I got a bad temper, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know what this next step, like, yes, I want to get out of media and entertainment industry because it just hasn't worked for me. But I look at my other options and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to do that. But, we'll see. I have no idea. I honestly think this is going to be a long unemployment just because of what I'm hearing and seeing with the market and the economy and inflation and interest rates. It's just like, everyone's hiring. And it's like, yeah, okay. All right, everyone's hiring, but you're overqualified and you're asking for too much. And then I talk to my friends and they're like, you're only making that? You should be making way more than that. It's like, oh, well, then you can hire me, right? You can hire me for that much and pay me that much? Cool. Oh, God. Anyway, that's enough life, right? That's enough life for one episode. Holy shit. I should mention, we did go to the Kids Expo Sunday. So for everyone who thinks that like, I just put my daughter on the iPad and that's that, well, not necessarily. We did go to the Kids Expo at the Princeton Market Fair Mall on Sunday. The tickets were free, so I was like, I guess that's cool. And I should have known as soon as they were free that it was like, that's what we're getting involved in. I don't know why I expected to roll up there and like the parking lot to be like taken over with like a Ferris wheel and rides and carnival games and all this fun stuff. And instead it was like, no, you walk in and it's literally like a bunch of local businesses setting up, beer pong tables and handing out like free candy, trying to sign you up for like a dental appointment or life insurance. It's like, what the hell? What the hell, dude? New York Life Insurance, what are you doing? Sponsoring a Kids Expo and handing out candy. I mean, the woman who was behind this table there's no way she has kids. First and foremost, no way she has kids. My gut says, and this is pretty evident considering what I was exposed to with my ex-wife and her best friend and going out to dinner with those creeps, dude, is the insurance industry, though stable and secure, is infested with people that are just, ugh, no thanks. And so I think this is one of those women. I know that's a lot to astral project, but based on like 2 seconds of interaction, but she's like, could not handle kids. They had a wheel that you spin. It's like, of course the kids are gonna spin the fuck out of that wheel and they want the candy. And like, you weren't prepared for this. It's a Kids Expo and you're trying to sell life insurance. What is going on here? So yeah, it was that kind of shtick where it's like, it's just a bunch of picnic tables or folding tables and like free candy for kids and trying to get adults to sign up and pay for shit. That's all my life has been recently, especially with the dating apps. I deleted all the dating apps. I'm officially off all the dating apps. There's just no point when I'm unemployed to even entertain that, even if like just looking at pics of women, which was entertaining in and of itself. Yes, I'm a pig. Yeah. I'm chauvinist. Yeah. Not necessarily misogynist, but I could see how you could say that. But yeah, I deleted all that crap because it's literally every action that I want to take now, they try to charge you for. Like what happened in the past 8 years? Like how much revenue are these freaking guys getting? And I thought to myself, like, I want to almost start my own dating app and I literally will charge everyone on the dating app $1 per month. And you can do whatever you want. You don't have to pay for anything beyond that. Literally $1 per month. None of this upgrade to see who's liked you. Upgrade to send a super like. I mean, like, it's not for adults. The dating apps are not for like grown people. Even eHarmony, which purports to be like the matchmaker for people who are serious about relationships, want to charge me $600 just so I can see a picture. GFY to all the dating apps. GFY. And I ended up, and I won't say what, but I did end up paying for an app for a year, annual subscription, of course, days before I was canned, and the income goes bye-bye. And even that, I paid for it. And in order for anything to actually happen and for you to connect with someone and like do a date or something like that, you had to send them a gift and you had to pay. You have to pay. You want to get noticed, you have to pay. You want them to notice, you have to pay. So you have to pay out the ass to just interact with the person or to see the person's profile or to get noticed or to talk to them. And then you have to pay to go on the date and then pay and pay and pay and pay and pay. Everything is just like nonstop. We're running a promotion. You can now get blah, blah, blah. Like, no, dude, I don't want your promotion. I just want to know why my bill is $400. Anyway, did anyone want to listen to this? No, dude. So that's life.